Next is from Sumganda Chanko. The subject is CM Punk, the Ultimate Fighter. Good day, K100 crew. Now, as we've all heard, Mr. Punk got suspended again for fighting backstage. To me, the fights aren't necessarily a big deal because I played sports and trained MMA, so I understand the dynamics of teams and the conflict happens. If you care about winning, your team will fight almost every week. However, I think that AEW it is different because it's clearly a soft locker room and Tony Khan is a weak leader. The AEW locker room is possibly the only place on earth that Punk could have a winning fight record. Do you guys think he'd be able to get away with this behavior in a WWE locker room? Not even because of the office, but because there are people there that would put him in his place. I don't see Roman, Cody, Riddle, Drew, or guys like that getting pushed around by CM Punk. Personally, I like Punk. I think he's a great TV personality. His work is good and his psychology is very good, but he greatly requires to be in a tight leash in order to be effective. We talked about this at the beginning of the show. He's just a heat seeker. He's very arrogant, very self-centered, has a very high opinion of himself. Okay, and I think that permeates, that attitude permeates amongst a group of guys that do not want to have a part of that in a professional wrestling locker room, and I think that's the main issue.
And would you agree with that? A tight leash might work on some guys, but I think Punk would just lash out even more. You know
what? What are you talking about?
Your headset, Conan. Well, the guy said you should try.
What are you talking about?
He says the guy Punk would greatly require to be on a tight leash in order to be effective, and I'm saying that if you attempted to put all these restrictions on Punk and put him on a tight leash, that he would just lash out and rebel even more. You know.
Well, he's got to learn that not everybody else is going to let him get away with that. So
right. Do you think there's a part of it, and we did discuss this on Talk, so if you want to hear more, go check that out. But do you guys think there's a part of it that in Punk, he's like, all right, these guys saw me lose my 2 UFC fights, one very quickly. So he's kind of on his heels anyway. Like he has to prove himself. Maybe that's causing some of this too. He's like, I can't let them think I'm a...
For whatever the reason is, he's an adult, an intelligent adult, and he should be handling this way better than he's doing right now. So I don't give a what reason you give me.
What the reason is, yeah.
Next from Timothy Smith. Subject is Calisto / Samurai the Sun. Greetings, K100. Is your boy TJ from NYC, BKA Ranger Metnet Jet on the Discord. Let's actually suspend him for that.
I like that suspension.
And you know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
On a recent episode of Impact, Samurai Del Sol, better known as Calisto in WWE, called himself the GLOAT, which apparently stands for the greatest luchador of all time. What are your thoughts? Also, who is a better United States champion? Kalisto, Rey Mysterio, or Conan? Thanks as always for the content. All the best, and that's TJ. I actually think that's that's a good T-shirt for the guy. The GLOAT.
The GLOAT.
That's not bad. I mean, the guy, bro, if that guy sells that and people wear it, it's like, okay, I got to give that guy credit for you. He came up with a very simple little thing there that can make him money. And the best United States champion of all time was definitely Conan. Conan, would you agree that you were the best United States champion of all time, or better than Rey Mysterio and Kalisto?
Definitely better than Kalisto, not better than Rey. Here's the thing. If he's a heel, that's a good gimmick. But I remember him in WWE calling himself that, but I don't think he was a heel.
Right.
Bro, you can name yourself whatever you want, no shade and definitely no cap, and I'm just stating, not hating. If he's actually serious and he's referring to WWE, Ray, Eddie, Psychosis, ADR, there's a gang of grip for him. And if he's talking about Mexico, he's not even in the top 50. So... But if he's a heel, that's a good gimmick.
Next up from Beto Garcia, and I got to make a point here. The subject is blasphemy. This is how he starts. They said Beto Garcia, and the subject is blasphemy.
Oh, blasphemy.
Subject, blasphemy. Right. How's it, players? And he puts 2 exclamation points. It's your homeboy from the Sucker Free with 2 exclamation points. Okay? Now, I'm going to make a point. That's the opening of the email. Right, guys, if you are going to, like, introduce yourself to the email like you're showing up at a reading for a part from the movie Glee, and, like, you're showing up and, like, hey, look at me. Here I am, everybody. It's me. You're going to get suspended, all right? So let's suspend Beto Garcia for what's the word I want to use? Overemphasize, overdoing your intro. You don't get an intro on this show. You just because what you just did there. If everybody did this, I have to read more stuff, and it's unnecessary. Okay, you're not getting over because of reading your email, right? Samurai Del Sol, who is known as Calisto on WWE, had a backstage segment on Impact in which he called himself the Gloat, the greatest luchador of all time. Joe, why didn't you tell me that this is 2 emails back to back? So I could have read them both. Okay. He also said no other luchador comes close to his illustrious U.S. title reign. Duke still can't cut a promo and crowd reactions little to none when he comes out. So would all three of you guys agree with his delusional claims? Stay righteous, mentally and physically healthy. We just talked about this. You're suspended, by the way, Beto, for and also, too, I want to suspend the guy before. It's
Ranger.
your boy,
Ranger
Timothy J. Smith, yeah.
And this guy Beto, the Gloat, got checked in the previous email.
Right. Well, Kalisto's the Gloat.
Right. That's
we can think of a bunch of other letters to put it in.
If he's a heel, that's great. But if he's a babyface, it's even better.
Well, what if? Well, time out. This would be an actually better. Like for the Gloat, that's a good idea. But what if a wrestler, right, comes up, decides that she's going to use that term, the Gloat, like the greatest of all time? I would buy that shirt more than I would buy the luchador shirt. You know. Because it probably have a hot chick on it. But there's a lot of letters you could put there that you could spin off of the Gloat, like like what would you say for me? Like a letter that you could put in there, Conan, like the greatest what of all time. We'll figure it out. Okay, next is some White Golding. Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné made her AEW last night, which I personally thought was a bad idea because why have her if she can't get physical? And it got me thinking about how she, Lacey Evans, Nia Jackson, even Ronda Rousey could someone make their way into AEW. Question. If AEW were to sign Rousey, do you think it would draw if Tony Khan booked a Brawl for All segment with CM Punk versus Ronda Rousey? Plus, who do you think would win? P.S. Conan, it takes a real man to wear a pink and purple shirt and still look cool in it. You're the man. I'm glad to see that you're looking great these days. I want to see Joe wearing pink soon, too, so that we can compare. All right. Now, I think we've actually discussed this on the show years ago. Before Punk, like when Punk first entered when he first got signed by UFC, right? Mm-hmm. I thought there was probably a lot of question in people's minds that, if you book Punk against Ronda Rousey, who would win? But now Punk obviously weighs about 30 pounds more than her, or 40 pounds more, and he's been trained UFC for like a good 2 years. There's no way she would beat him. Like, okay, a grown man.
Well, if he still trains, he's been training 7 years ish, something like that.
All right. You got any wait? P.S. Conan, it takes a real man to wear a pink and purple shirt and still look cool in it. You're the man. I'm glad to see you're looking great these days. I want to see Joe wearing pink soon too, so that we can compare.
I'm not going to be able to pull that off like Conan. Right.
You got any comments?
Let me read this old quote to you, because you'll enjoy this. This is CM Punk. In 2016, okay, and he's on the Colin Cowherd's Herd Radio show. I know people think this is a publicity stunt. I'm never going to set foot in the octagon. He said, I'm looking forward to proving them wrong, but to me, it's not super far-fetched to be like, you know what? What if I put 3 or 4 wins together? Who's to say I don't get a title shot?
Interesting.
Enjoy that a little more.
You got any comments on this?
Yeah, I don't think that was interesting. By the way, Joe doesn't really have to wear pink. His whole swag screams pink. Hola, muchachos.
Right.
And the reason I wear pink, because that's my Miami swag. So let me just say one thing, because he said that Sasha debuted in AEW. How did she debut? She was sitting in the stands.
Yeah, she didn't debut. She was
right. She was a guest. Right.
It was right.
Nothing wrong with that.
Or it looked like she bought a ticket and then the camera caught her.
Right. One of the two.
Right, exactly.
I'm glad that show is over so we can stop.
Her debut
about the ticket sales
her debut And it was the equivalent of like if you said Denzel Washington just debuted for the Los Angeles Lakers because we've had him sitting shot him sitting in the
Right,
crowd.
because he was sitting courtside, right?
Right.
That's tremendous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Adam Sandler just debuted with Spike Lee for the Knicks.
that's right.
That's tremendous. Jack
Yeah.
Nicholson.
For the Lakers.
Debuted for the
Yeah.
Lakers tonight. Yeah. Right. Next is from Austin.
What's this guy's name? Let me kazoo this guy, please. What's his
Yeah,
name?
Right. This guy's
Thanks
name
for the
was,
laughs.
White Goulding.
White Gould. Okay, next from also Garrison, subject Edge's comments about Dominic. Last week, WWE released an interview with Edge with Caleb Braxton. One of the questions you asked him was, who do you see in this position in 25 years' time? And his reply was Dominic Mysterio. My question for you guys is, do you agree that Dominic has what it takes to make it to Edge's level? And also, if Edge isn't officially retired, do you think that this is potentially setting the seeds for a possible Edge versus Dominic Mysterio match at WrestleMania? I hope, though, I think that would be excellent. He's already had an angle with Edge. Hasn't, remember?
Yep.
They already did an angle when he was being disrespectful to his dad and stuff and everything. You know, Dominic kicked him in the. Remember that? That whole thing off. So yeah, Dominic does not seem like the type of guy that would stick around wrestling for 25 years. He looks like he'd probably make a lot of money and then go into Hollywood or something. You know, like 25 years. I don't. I mean, bro, these guys make a fortune as it is these days. Like you don't need 25 years. You know, and
Right.
I don't know. I actually wouldn't even suggest anybody working 25 years. If you're as over as he is, and he's probably making really good money right now, do it for like a good 10. And the day that your body starts aching too much to go to work, just call it quits. You know, he's going to have a nice house, a lot of money in the bank and stuff. He's getting married, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, it's because of why he's having kids. And just don't make the mistake that a lot of wrestlers that looked back on their careers and didn't see their kids grow up.
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
His wedding's going to be here in San Diego. If they invited you, would you come down or no?
Sure, I'd go. I'd cut a promo too. Would I do that? That'd be pretty funny.
That would be great.
Why is that? Why would I be? Why is that?
Because I've invited you to a million things. So has Joe, and you don't show up to any of them.
Yeah, but that's like you cutting promos in front of a bunch of people at a comedy bar, like I mean.
Okay, and I would show up for you.
This is a wedding. This is the difference of occasion. This is I would show up and heckle
on the cruise either.
You think I would show up? And, would you expect me to show up and put you over, or show up and heckle you? One or the other. What would you think?
No, I know what you would do. You would heckle me, but you'd get destroyed. You would get. I hope you do that. I'm gonna tell Dominic, make sure you come to the wedding, and I want you to heckle me.
Right. Well, what would you do if there's one person? If anybody like to speak up and say they shouldn't be married, and I spoke up.
That would be great.
You think
that would get a pop.
You think when they make the seating plans that Dom will make sure to seat the three of us together?
Well, he's not going to invite you, Joe.
What? Are you sure?
Why would Dominic invite you?
We're pretty tight.